Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
These are good problems to have, right? So much success that you have more than one place to be.
5-3, touchdown, Oregon.
Off a dribble, launches, and hits the three. Oregon leads.
What a great opportunity it is to be able to play at University of Oregon.
I'm just incredibly proud to be a part of something like this.
She wants another three. Oh, three in a row.
Oregon is headed to the Super Regional.
Big Ten champions, your Oregon Ducks.
We are so privileged and so fortunate. We get to see all these young people. We get to see this incredible growth, which is what college is all about.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck athletics.
Duck Insider on Athletic Director Tuesday. Da'Mon Merkerson here with us in the Country Financial Studio. Senior Associate Athletic Director in charge of Culture and Engagement. And Da'Mon, it's good to see you again, buddy. How are you?
I'm good, man. Great to see you.
So just tell me, large scale, just what's been going on as a whole around everything around your parts, around your side of the corner offices? What's new?
Yeah, man. We've had an interesting winter quarter, man. We started out with a lot of early programming. You know, we had our annual Martin Luther King March out in January. So we collaborated with the NAACP as well as some campus community partners. Started off right in front of Autzen, marched about a mile and a half, had a great turnout. You know, that event has always been a staple, you know, of our community, and really, really excited to continue to keep that going. Just finished some Black History Month programming and initiatives, a host of items across the campus that included some things that we led as an athletic department, as well as just participated on, you know, with other campus partners, and some trainings, man, trainings. Randomly, I'm expecting a child. I could throw that out there. That's not department wise, but I feel like it's a life event, right? Yeah. So a lot going on, man. A lot going on.
Well, congratulations for one. I'm excited for you, both in everything that you've been able to do here, but also for you and your family. And I do want to touch on just moving forward into why I think it's really important to have you on today's show. Why it was great that your term came up in the cycle today is because over the last 2 days, we've gotten some Jackie Robinson Community and Impact Award nominees for Oregon over Go Ducks on their Twitter feed. You can see the nominees for, on the men's side, Junior Lewicki, a baseball player, and on the women's side, Hannah Subert, track and field athlete. Just first off, take me into just the award as a whole. What is the Jackie Robinson Award?
Yeah, so the Big Ten Jackie Robinson Community Impact Award is an acknowledgement and recognition for our athletes. You know, incredible commitments to service. You know, whether it be in their local community or in a larger community. This is an award that the Big Ten and the Inclusive Excellence Council talked through. Wanted to find a way to, you know, really acknowledge and recognize, you know, again, all the things that the student athletes do in the community, and wanted to figure, you know, Jackie Robinson, what he's meant to our country, right, worldwide in general, his story, his commitment to service, and just wanted to, again, find a way to, another way. The Big Ten is always active in creating the opportunities for student athletes as well as recognition, right? Recognizing, right? So we, as a council, talked about what were some of the core important things in terms of community and impact, and they allowed each athletic department, institution to kind of come up with their own criteria, with a baseline criteria to how we selected that. And here, you know, our Old Heroes operation does so much great things, so that was an easy first one to go to. But we really wanted to look at what unique specialized programs that that our student athletes are getting to, or nonprofits they may have, and that's kind of like where juniors, you know, I Care a Lot program is really unique in that way. And Hannah, Eugene native, right, from out here, does tons of different work with a different amount of organizations. So we felt like those two really stood out from our campus community, and really excited to see if they see them get recognized and hopefully, you know, win the award amongst the conference.
You think of a new conference and, of course, new teams to be played, new venues to go to, but this is one of the things that is a little bit behind the scenes that might not be what you first think of changes that come with the new conference, but this is part of it. This is what is part of the opportunities that come with a birth into a separate conference.
Yeah, exactly. I think, the revenue, the money always gets the headlines, and obviously that's a part of it. It's important, but those engagement and development pieces that the Big Ten has, whether it's the Academic Alliance, whether it's this Community Impact Award or the Life Series trips, right? The trips we did over the summer with the Big Ten, at Iowa and in Selma, Alabama. There's a heavy investment in the holistic development of our student athletes, right? And as well as opportunities for them to show their own entrepreneurial or philanthropic endeavors, such as the Jackie Robinson Impact Award.
So take me through the process of how it happens. You talked a little bit about how the nominees get selected, but just how many student athletes even come across your desk, whoever's desk it is, that decides who is the final nominee across the university? How do you narrow it down to just one on the men's and the women's side? Because there's so many great student athletes that are doing so many things inside of the community.
Yeah, so first we connect with Katie Harbour, our Associate Athletic Director for Student Athlete Development. Her and Aubrey Rashid, who's actually our Big Ten Fellow. Again, another program, another opportunity. The Big Ten Fellowship is they give us some money to support a student that wants to, get into some aspect of athletics. Aubrey Rashid is ours. She oversees our O Heroes program. So that was the first place. Who is engaged and involved with our O Heroes program, which logs and tracks all the community service that's done throughout the department? The next step was talking to the coaches and the different staff members about what student athletes that they're aware of that have, any unique nonprofits or engagement, right? And not by any surprise, but always good to be reinforced. We had tons of students doing a lot of different unique programs and engagement, whether it's camps, or whether it's raising money for other nonprofits. There were a lot of different things. So the third step in that piece was, well, let's talk about the people, right? And then get recommendations. And both of these candidates had outside outside the athletic department that really spoke on their behalf, that really helped them kind of separate themselves from the other candidates. So it was a long process. It was a lot of communication through different parties, but inevitably that's how we got to them.
Navila Luwaki, they call him Junior around the baseball program. If you watch the video on the Go Ducks social media pages, you heard Coach Wazakowski mention that, well, it's the Jackie Robinson Award for a baseball player. There's so much intertwinement there, and it means a little bit more for a baseball player to be up for a Jackie Robinson Award. Just with Junior specifically and his involvement with the award, his nomination, just the intertwinement of Jackie Robinson with baseball and also what he's done with his It's Cool to Care initiative and how that's worked for him getting the nomination for this award.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure Waz would like to say it means more, and I think he's right at some point, right? I think with in baseball, it's hard. Like, who doesn't understand or know the story of Jackie Robinson, right? Whether it's everybody wearing his number on Jackie Robinson Day, or just being told it as we talk about social justice and overall, respecting people for who they are. I imagine as a baseball player, that feels like home, right? This feels like an award made for them. It's not limited to them, but I think Junior, once we had that conversation when I told him he was selected and if he would be okay with moving forward, he really, started talking very, in depth about, Jackie Robinson, right? Like, when we did those videos, I gave no cues to anybody about what they needed to say, and you could see it about from Junior himself on, with the importance of that legacy and as a baseball player, what it signifies for him.
And with Hannah Subert as well, also nominated on the women's side, the local impact, her growing up here, being a part of this community, works with kids sports, works with the Judicial Department Citizen Review Board, just making impacts on her local community now as a collegian and spanning from when she then graduates into being a part of the community as a whole. It means a lot for a local Eugenian to make this type of impact across the board with kids and then with the community as a whole, with both of the things that she's doing that got her nominated for this award.
Yeah, I think Hannah, when you talk about Tracktown USA and you talk about all the things that coming up in this community can mean to somebody. Hannah is the epitome of that, right? And I think just as a person committed to community service and engagement, Hannah's been on a lot of the Big Ten life trips I mentioned earlier. She's attended most of those, right? She's been engaged in SAC, right, our Student Athlete Advisory Committee. She's been engaged in so many different programs that, she's all about improving community and not necessarily one aspect of the community, right? I think it's the diversity of opportunities, whether it's kids sports, whether it's the Citizen Review Board that she does. Hannah is really, motivated, right, at this idea of this call to action to be of a service. And again, when I looked at the main two criteria of the service award, she was probably the first person I thought of, just because she is, again, it's so a part of her process that it's an inspiring story to tell. And I think it really reaches the different people out here in the, Lane County, Eugene community, whatever you have, and it's really special.
Da'Mon Merkerson with us in the Country Financial Studio. What is the process moving forward? They're nominated for the award. What's the process moving forward until they, let's knock on wood, eventually win the award?
Right. So the Big Ten has a review committee that's going to review all the applicants, right? Their resumes, their letter of recommendations, and their video submissions. And I believe they're going to announce the winner late March, early April on their campuses. So we could find them here during a competition coming by to announce, or maybe we could announce it at the track and field championship when we in May when we're out here. So I'm hopeful and feel really good that one, Junior and Hannah have already won because of the work that they've done, but it would be a nice icing on the cake if they were to also win amongst the conference members.
Jackie Robinson Community and Impact Award. Da'Mon, with this award specifically, what do we miss? Have we missed anything?
No, I think the Jackie Robinson Foundation is involved with it, so that collaboration is really cool as well. Their foundation does tremendous work in all communities. So no, man, I think it's just, again, a great testament. This is an award that is the inaugural selection of the award, so this is the first time. And I think it's an indicator that the Big Ten really listens to its membership about, what are some other ways to not only engage and highlight student athletes, but to develop them, right? And again, this award is one of the many examples of it.
Da'Mon Merkerson, Senior Associate Athletic Director, in charge of culture and engagement. We've got a lot more on the culture and engagement front to still touch on. We got to get a timeout when we come back, breaking a lot of that down when we return on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back in the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano here. Da'Mon Merkerson with us. Just talked about the Jackie Robinson Community and Impact Award, but there's a lot more going on in culture and engagement around the rest of the university. Just what's March going to look like moving forward over the rest of the month, over the next month or two before we get you back in here in studio? What is going to be next on your plate from that standpoint?
Yeah, so again, March is Women's History Month, so we have some programming that our women of Oregon, as well as our Women in Flight, are going to take some leads on, some acknowledgments at games, some educational opportunities for department staff. We got a couple trainings, right? We have a cool lunch with our AD series that we do. So Rob Mullins, our AD, kind of sits down with different people amongst the staff, kind of talking about whatever topic of discussion that they want to touch upon. And a lot of staff get really, really excited about that because Rob, as you know, you have him on here, he's easy to talk to, right? Very transparent, and gives you a lot of real answers. So looking forward to that trainings, that programming. We also have some a Crucial Conversation series. So it's based on the book Crucial Conversations, in which we talk about best ways to kind of deal with conflict, right? The idea of how to navigate that, and come to a resolution. So again, all things, all optional, but things that our department and staff has really leaned in on and committed to.
Coming off of Black History Month, now going into Women's History Month, there was a lot going on around the university that was scheduled around Black History Month. How did it go? What was that process like?
Yeah. So via our Be Oregon initiative, we had a couple Be Oregon games where our men's and women's basketball team had some Black History Month games where we had some performances, acknowledgments, as well as some overall just engagement, right, from the whole campus community. Acrobatics and tumbling competed against Morgan State, which is a historically black college university, and both teams, from the acro teams, came together, had a dinner, 2 nights before the event to talk about, just overall their experiences, right? We invited some campus community and some local community members to listen in on the discussion, again, learning from each other, right? Like we look at these opportunities from an educational standpoint. Like how can we educate and learn more about, each institution's values and, what are the pros and cons from attending both. So we had that as well as our Soul Food Sunday event. So Soul Food Sunday is a night of sharing a meal, campus, athletic department, anybody that wanted to attend came together, learn a little bit about Black History Month in general, share a meal, and play some games and just community building, right? So those were some of the main ones. There were a few other things. We had some guest speakers on campus that the Black Cultural Center hosted, it's a lot. it's a jam-packed month, as Women's History Month will be jam-packed as well, of some engagement.
Other stuff going on that's not part of the monthly schedule. Also, just some other trainings, assessment. You did disc assessments with some of the student athletes.
Yeah. That's right. So we did with some staff the NCAA disc assessment, and the disc is a kind of a behavioral assessment to how people best operate and work in teams. Right. It gives you kind of a natural and an adaptive style. Right. Your natural style being the skills you utilize when you're most comfortable, and then adaptive style being the skill sets you utilize when you feel like the situation calls for you to do to do for that scenario. So it's always fun, right? Because these assessments can make people feel like, well, wait a minute, I'm not dominant in all scenarios, and it's like, well, listen, how you answer the questions, determine what your values are for these scenarios. And it's not saying that you're solely one thing, but it is a way of behaving and operating that you might naturally lean on. So the benefit for that is making people aware of these things gives them the tools to how to be proactive and again work most effective in whatever group setting they might be in. So we had about 25 people take the disc assessment this time around. We'll probably do another training session later on in the summer or early fall.
An opportunity for feedback and self-reflection, helping the student athletes in all different sorts of aspects, not just in athletics, is incredibly important.
Correct. I mean, again, they're transitional skills, right? So a lot of that disc assessment piece that the NCAA helps cultivate is it's based upon, how do you work in teams. So, right, so like the scenarios are talked about from an athletic standpoint, but all these things will transition into the workplace, right, which is why we do the disc assessment for our staff as well, because it all applies, man. And at the end of the day, some of us can be dominant, some of us have influence skills. The main piece of the disc is we have all four, and we just need to know when we're operating which one at a particular given situation.
Da'Mon Merkerson with us. One of your newer roles is that you're also the sports supervisor for men's tennis in the midst of season. What's going on with men's tennis?
Yeah. Loving working with the tennis guys, right? They're competing really, really hard right now. Had a challenging weekend against Michigan and Michigan State, but we had some positives there, right? Vlad played really well. I think he beat maybe the 19th or 20th ranked person. So we got some good things going out there. Niels runs a great program, right? One of our long tenured coaches here. So it's been really fun getting to know them. I've done a couple workshops and sessions with them prior to me becoming a sports supervisor, so I know the guys pretty well, have a good feel for them. And just looking to contribute and help improve their experience as best as I can.
Oregon soccer also going through a transition, welcoming in Coach Joyner and the assembly of her staff over the last few months after she got hired, just to work with women's soccer.
Yeah, it's been an interesting winter, seeing Coach kind of take all the things that she was talked about during the interview process and start to apply them has been really cool to see. Obviously there's challenges always with change, right? Change brings challenge. And the athletes on the team, I've seen them really rise to the occasion, and see them kind of fill out and get a feel for her and her staff. But it's been fun. They're very energetic. They have a lot of good ideas, and they've been recruiting like crazy. So that's been a pleasant, a good surprise, not surprise, but a good thing to see in terms of how they're kind of like acclimating to the Oregon culture, right, and bringing their approach. So it's been fun for me to first see the process pre her arriving here, and now as it's working its way out, and I'm excited to see what it looks like when spring games begin soon.
Da'Mon, what else do we miss?
What else do we miss, man? I don't know, man. How are you doing? What's going on with you?
I'm doing great. It's baseball game day.
Let's go.
So we'll be over at PK Park later.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I'm just having fun talking to you.
I mean, this is always a good time talking to me. I'm getting ready to step into fatherhood. Shout out to my wife, the greatest person in the world. Yeah, man, I'm nervous though. I'm ready, but I'm also nervous. But I feel like it's going to be okay, man. Always really, really support. What I love about this and this transition athletic department, everybody here has been so supportive of me. And I think that's really, indicative of our overall culture here as an athletic department, that everyone really has each other's back. And, yeah, man, I'm really grateful and happy to be here and excited to see what the spring quarter brings.
Senior Associate Athletic Director, Culture and Engagement / father upcoming, Da'Mon Merkerson. Best of luck, buddy.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
Da'Mon, as always great talking to you. We're talking with Melyssa Lombardi when we return after this on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Jan here. Spring is in the air. Time to get back outside with a new Toyota.
Go from dreaming it to driving it. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends March 31st. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Jan here. Spring is in the air. Time to get back outside with a new Toyota.
Go from dreaming it to driving it. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends March 31st. Toyota, let's go places.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I like a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
My son, Ricky, took his life by the use of a firearm. It broke me, and I contemplated suicide. My grandson, I was gonna have to be here for him. I still own my firearm. I keep it in a safe because I want to keep my grandson and myself safe.
Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
It's not easy to be the top 10 team. It's not easy to be the top 10 team twice. Here, back in the Country Financial Studio on Duck Insider, Coach Melyssa Lombardi is with us. Oregon softball getting 2 top 10 wins, 4 wins over the weekend at the Jane. Coach, good job this weekend. How are you?
I'm doing good. Just really love what our team did this past weekend. Very, very proud of them and excited. And it's almost like now on to the next. So
going into, well, now Big Ten play, wrapping up non-conference play, and you wrapped it up in style. First, getting such a talented opponent in Florida State to come to the Jane, and then the performance from the team across the board, across the 2 games. Was this the type of regional type of test you were hoping for your team to go through here in the early non-conference?
Yes, for sure. I look at having the opportunity to play Florida State at home. You know, we kept talking about it feeling like a postseason environment with them coming to town, and it certainly did. I think that's important to get tested early and often. You know, we're going to be opening up the Big Ten in order to do that, where we tested in the non-conference segment, and I would say absolutely.
You've now played 3 top 10 teams this season. You played Tennessee at the Mary Nutter. You've now played Florida State twice. Florida State had never been shut out coming into this weekend. You shut them out twice. You've shut out all of the top 10 teams that you've played so far this season. Just the pitching performance when you're going up against a really talented lineup on the other side, the ability for whoever's out in the circle to buckle down and have not given up a run against a top 10 team yet this season.
Mm-hmm. They've done a great job. Our pitching staff is excellent. And what I love is that we have a staff. We can't just rely on one. We need to be able to rely on many. And I just think everybody gets to see the product on the field, but a lot of people obviously don't see the work and the studying and the reviewing and stuff that goes into each game and just understanding the strategy that they want to use. And that's what I'm really excited about, is they really put a lot of time into preparing for our opponents.
Preparation clearly paid off against Florida State. We'll start with the game on Friday, and I want to highlight Lindsey Grine a little bit because she was excellent on Friday. Through 7 innings, 1 hit softball, did not allow a run, only 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, just across the board. She didn't allow a hit after the first inning. Just her performance against a top 10 team to go in there and shut down the opponents. What did you see from her and her body of work on Friday?
I really loved how she worked ahead. I thought she did a good job of really changing levels with her rise ball, with her drop ball, and then obviously mixing speeds with her changeup. But I just thought her plan was foolproof. You know, she did a great job of putting pressure on every hitter, pitch after pitch. I don't think she allowed them to take a break and have a pitch that was wild. I thought she was just very much on top of them and they could feel the pressure. And not only that, I thought our defense was excellent. Katie Flannery this weekend was unbelievable. She had some hard shots that came her way and she made them look like they were really easy. But I just would say the combination of Lindsey and what she did on the mound and then our defense behind her is what allowed us to give our team an opportunity to win.
I'm glad you mentioned the defense because you don't shut out a top 10 opponent without having strong defense behind the pitching in the circle as well. You touched on the defense a little bit right there, but just the importance of having a talented defense where a pitcher can trust it back behind them and have the confidence where you can get the ball put in play. It was only 5 strikeouts to the 7 innings for Lindsey Grind, but you can get the ball put in play, and the defense behind her is still able to record outs. How much confidence does that lend to a pitcher?
It's huge for our pitching staff because it doesn't make them feel like they have to be perfect. They can trust their game and know that whatever type of play our defense needs to make, whether it's a hot shot, a routine, a 50-50, that they're going to come up and make big plays for us. And they did. They did all weekend.
We talked about Lindsey Grind and her performance in the circle against Florida State. Flash forward 2 days later, Elise Sokolsky basically replicated it. A 2-hit shutout. Faced one less batter than Lindsey Grind did. Allowed one more hit. Didn't allow a walk. Still had the 5 strikeouts. Elise Sokolsky, almost a replicative performance of what Lindsey Grind did in the circle. The consistency from the staff where you can start Lindsey Grind in one game and then you can start Elise Sokolsky in another and you get the same result against, again, a really talented lineup in Florida State.
For sure. I mean, that's a tough lineup, and to watch Elise. One thing I love about Elise is she gets after it. They all do, but she's just got this. She's just very, very competitive on the mound. She's got great energy. We talk a lot about our offense and defense feeding each other back and forth, and I felt like she just kept feeding our offense every time we would get off the field with the momentum that we needed.
Talking a lot about the pitching staff, but I think you can't tell the story of this weekend without talking about Brazy Rosa at the plate. In the 3 wins going into Monday, your team got 4 wins over the weekend, but the 3 over the true weekend of the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, of those 3 wins, Brazy Rosa had 5 runs driven in out of the 6 your team scored in those victories. Just her job getting thrust into the starting lineup and then against really talented opponents being able to produce the way that she did over the weekend.
Yes, it was really cool for everybody to get a chance to see who Bracy Rosa is. We've had some injury bugs this year, and it's definitely been next man up. And to go behind the plate and just do what she did. I really loved her glove work. She did a great job of receiving our pitchers, and then on top of that, runners got on, throwing them out. But then to come on the offensive side as well and give us that production was huge. I mean, that was the game winner. So love what she's doing, and you could see her really from the beginning of the weekend to the end just settle in and get comfortable back there.
It feels like every weekend there's a different player or two in the lineup that step up from weekend to weekend. I feel like we talked in the Mary Nutter. New players were stepping up. We talked last week. New players were stepping up in the first home weekend. It feels like every single weekend it's 1 through 9, really 1 through 15 in your lineup, and it doesn't really matter who it is. Someone is producing on any given weekend. That's got to be so important for the length of the lineup.
It is. If we're constantly looking for the same people to produce, we're going to run out of gas. Like we need everybody, and it is exciting to see that, like to hear, weekends before and hearing different names, and then this weekend to hear Bracy Rosa, to hear Katie Flannery. Katie Flannery, not only defensively was she excellent, but at the plate, she was really, really good this weekend. So just to hear different names, to see what Kedry's doing with this hitting streak that she's on right now, we need that. We talk about taking on strain and that we need more than just a couple to do it, and you can really see them as a group like embracing that.
I want to highlight on a few of the players you just mentioned individually a little bit. Katie Flannery, defensively stout. She's also hit .462 in back-to-back weekends. Just her two-way production, both in the field and at the plate, provides a lot of value for your club.
It does for sure. There were some plays this weekend that fans could look at it and think that they weren't that big of a deal, but they were a big deal. She just makes them look that easy. And I just think the communication that she has over there with Paige, they play really, really well side by side. But on top of that, too, just to see what she's doing at the plate. She's so smart at the plate and understanding what opponents are trying to do against her. And I just was really proud of her this weekend.
the Luchar sisters. We'll start with Kedri. Didn't start the season as the consistent starter in the outfield, has worked her way into a consistent starter in the outfield. Currently a hit in 13 straight games. She has hit 467 over the weekend, and I don't know how many times you'll see 2 triples in the same inning, but she got it done on Monday. Just Kedri Luchar and what she's done in your lineup from a hitting standpoint, the production she provides.
Same thing. We need Ked to produce for us. We do. She's got a ton of power, and she has a ton of speed. She's probably one of our best base runners. I'd probably guess between her and Kai, they'd fight to see who's the best. Who's the best one on the base path. But what I love too is that she's able to bunt for a hit. She's got good range in the outfield. Just really becoming a complete player for us. And you're right. She wasn't starting earlier in the season, and that's what we keep talking with these athletes. All of our team is that, any given time your name is going to be called, and are you going to be ready to go? And I think they have all really done a good job of being ready to go for what is needed from them.
Have you ever seen 2 triples in the same inning by the same player?
No, I haven't.
Kedri Luchar did it on Monday in the first inning against Abilene Christian, a 15-run first inning against Abilene Christian yesterday. Talked a little bit about Kedri, now talking about Kai. You talk about their battle in the stolen base department. Is that genetics? Is it instincts? How much work is put into that? Is it the sisterly connection where they're just really good at running bases, or is it all the work that they put in, a combination of both?
It's all of it. They've got a really good work ethic. They've got great genes, obviously. They love to play softball. They've really put just their heart and soul into this. And I just think as you get older, I feel like I say this every year, but it's the truth. I love watching our older athletes because they just get it. They're just in a great place where they don't put pressure on themselves. They don't allow their emotions to get them. It just becomes very clear of what it is that they need to do to be consistent at what they're doing, whether it's on offense or defense. And you could just see that. You could see that with Kai, but you can see Kedri's really starting to figure that out. So she's been great. She made an unbelievable catch in center field where she had to go. It was right over her head, and she had to go back, reach, and jump. And, she made it look easy. It's probably one of the best catches I've ever seen her have, but they've just been great. It's awesome to watch them working together.
Talking about the veterans stepping up in leadership roles, with such a freshman-laden group, you have such a strong number of freshmen on this team. It's a different type of leadership that's required from your veterans to translate that sort of loose attitude where you come in and swing away every game. Just the job that your leaders, you touched on a little bit, the job of your leaders as a whole to lead this freshman class and have everybody clicking at the right time so early, especially in these freshmen's collegiate careers.
Yeah, our older athletes are forcing our freshmen to play at a higher level right out of the gate. That's what they're doing for them. And what's great is when this freshman group become the older athletes, they are going to require and they are going to demand the same standard from their freshmen. And so I really love our leadership. Paige and Kai have been unbelievable in how they've led this team, and everybody else. But just we're all on the same page. We're understanding what we need to do to win, and then from there, just watching them put that product out there, game in and game out. I'm really proud of them and just their desire to be great and to really want to put the team first.
It's been a really strong product on the field. You said coming into the weekend you wanted to make the stands a lion's den at Jane Sanders Stadium. How did the fans do this weekend? What's the result you were looking for?
They were awesome. They were so good. That's why I came here. I came here as an opponent and was like, I never want to feel this again. And to be here on the good guy side and just watch them really get into the games and, home field advantage is huge. It is huge. And to have that home field advantage and to play Florida State twice here, it went a really long way for us. So the Bob is packed. It was such a great environment, postseason environment. That's what we needed.
It made a difference. And I thought even on Monday, it was an early Monday game, but the Bob was packed. There were about 500 kids out in center field, filled the Bob. I thought it was a really great opportunity, even on a Monday weekday, to have a strong environment at the Jane.
The kids in the outfield were awesome. They brought it. They were so loud and they were cheering, and they kept telling Kedri when she was playing center field to lock in and to be ready. Like, she just loved it. Like, you look at those little kids and our athletes, that once was them. They were the ones sitting in the stands cheering, and so they loved it. That was probably one of our favorite things of the weekend, is just seeing all the kids that were in the outfield yesterday.
A really good job over the last 2 weekends, coming back home at the Jane, having 2 successful weekends back-to-back. Now you go on the road. Now you start conference play. Washington coming up this weekend. Just what's it going to take now that you're transitioning from talented non-conference opponents into a talented Big Ten schedule?
For sure. It's going to, really doing the same thing, continuing to stay locked in with what we're doing and understanding what we need to do. But now you're going to play one opponent 3 times. So it's giving everything you've got and putting it all into game 1. And then from there, going to game 2 and then going to game 3. It's going to be difficult. We that's a huge rivalry with Washington. And so it's going to be tough, but we're excited. We're really excited and looking forward to going to Seattle.
And that's where having a complete staff comes in handy and is really important.
For sure. Definitely need to have that complete staff.
Coming up this weekend, starting on Friday, 4 o'clock against Washington, Saturday at noon, Sunday at 1 o'clock. Coach, what did we miss before you get on the road and you go up and start Big Ten play?
I think for us it's just continuing to get our work in this week and then be ready to go out and get after it again, And I just really like where our team is at. I think they're doing really good things, and it's just to continue to take it one game at a time.
Melyssa Lombardi, going into Big Ten play, 24-2 to start off the non-conference slate. We're going to get a timeout. When we return, more on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This message is for Shauna, my mom who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You taught me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never, ever become a minivan mom. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember. Back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide your arms for this wayward son?
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano here with you on a Tuesday. It's Oregon baseball game day. The start times for both Tuesday, Wednesday, and as well the Friday game against Minnesota. So this midweek against Grand Canyon and Friday against Minnesota, originally scheduled at 5 o'clock Pacific, they will be scheduled at 4 o'clock Pacific. First pitch an hour earlier than initially scheduled. 4 o'clock Pacific time will be when Oregon baseball softball starts things up today against Grand Canyon for their midweek series over at PK Park. I'll go over there right after the show. Just heard from Missy Lombardi. Also on the Oregon softball front, we talked a little bit about the pitchers, a stellar pitching performance, complete game shutout for both Lindsey Grine and Elise Sokolsky to go along with a few other appearances throughout the weekend, and they were named the Stars of the Week by Softball America. 5 Stars of the Week for Softball America. Lindsey Grine, Elise Sokolsky, both 2 of those 5 across the country. Oregon softball also in the rankings, moving up after beating a top 10 team twice. Oregon is now in the top 10, number 8 in the NFCA poll, number 8 in the USA softball poll. Oregon continues to climb. The Ducks on both diamonds are inside the top 10. Some great baseball and softball going on in Eugene. After the weekend for Oregon softball, the Ducks on Monday with a big 22-4 victory over Abilene Christian, an offensive onslaught. Katie Flannery, a big reason why Oregon had such a productive day. She spoke with the media after the win.
I guess just like for you in particular, a great day at the plate, had 3 hits. I mean, what was different about the approach from the rest of the weekend?
Yeah, I don't think anything's different about the approach. It's just trusting my process, trusting what I'm doing in warm-ups and outside of practice.
Did you know, I mean, obviously you kind of know that you were just one off for the cycle?
Yeah, I knew, but I was honestly just not trying to think about that, just trying to put the ball in play and have good hard hits.
What's it feel like? Yeah, you seem much more comfortable, not that you were uncomfortable, but, transitioning last year, playing at second, which isn't a normal position for you, your footwork, going from one side to the other, you've got it all down. It's kind of muscle memory now, and you're playing much more comfortable, much more at ease. What does that feel like from your perspective?
Yeah, thank you. It feels simple, honestly. It feels easy. All the work that we do in practice with Coach Roach just made me feel at ease over there.
I know that Caitlin started the season mainly on third base, and then you were at second. Did you guys kind of give each other advice as you made that transition to flip positions?
Yeah, we help each other out. I think everyone on the infield, including all of our coaches, are just here to help everybody out. So Katem and I can just kind of flip-flop there.
What's it like from your eyes to be a part of an inning like it was in the bottom of the first, where you bat around twice and you're just a part of that dugout that's on the positive side of that story? I mean, what does that feel like to be part of it?
I mean, in one word, it's just fun. It's fun. We're all having a good time. Seeing other people succeed is the best part for it.
Same question as before. How does it feel to inspire all those kids that were out there in the outfield today?
It feels amazing. I can just I remember when I was that young and I was just picking up a softball for the first time. So just to be able to do that for them, see them have a good time out here, it's awesome.
I don't think we got to ask you, but this team, from the outside looking in, feels much more cohesive, much closer than some of the previous teams. You were here last year. Not that not that last year's team wasn't great, but this year's team seems different. From your perspective, what is that? What's the essence of that? What makes it different?
I just think the people here, we're all bought in for the same reason. We all have the same end goal, and we all want each other to succeed just as much as we want ourselves to succeed, because we all have that we before I mentality.
What has it been kind of like in that leadership role? Because obviously you're just in your sophomore year, but a lot of new faces on this team. I'm sure they're probably looking up to you and looking for some advice in a game like this too.
Yeah, I mean, it's new, but it is what it is. I have obviously Paige right next to me helping me out, so yeah, just whatever I can do for everyone coming in.
Katie Flannery, big weekend on the weekend, .476 batting average in back-to-back weekends for Katie Flannery. You heard her mention having Paige Sinicki next to her. Paige Sinicki had one heck of a Monday. 7 runs batted in for Paige Sinicki in the 22-run offensive output performance for Oregon against Abilene Christian to close out the Jane Sanders Classic. The shortstop, the Gold Glover, also talked with the media on Monday.
Felt like the bats were a little quiet entering the game. You guys just put up 8 runs in the weekend, but to end it off with 22 runs, I mean, just how did it feel to keep passing the bat?
It was good. I think we needed that going into next weekend also, and it was good just to be able to pass our bats and get the energy flowing for this next weekend, and that's Duck softball right there. So being able to stick to our process and getting back to what we've been doing all season, it felt really good.
As a team, do you guys feel better? You talked about how you had to be able to flush the loss and move forward. You guys seem to have done that pretty well. Could you just speak to what that is like personally as a leader, kind of being able to see the team do that?
Yeah, I think it's awesome just seeing everybody buy into just one game at a time. Like, this was the most important game of the weekend today, and we buy into that. And so being able to get the job done and not really worrying about other games in the past, I think that was cool just to see 1 through 23 buy into that process, and that's what we did here today.
What was said overnight? I mean, this is a team, not even 24 hours ago, you're in a tight contest. They had a tying run in the 7th inning last night to now just a dominating, to say the least, performance. What was kind of the mindset, the word in the locker room coming into this morning and the way you guys played offensively?
Yeah, I think it was just a reset for all of us. I think you could feel all of us maybe pressing a little bit, trying to do too many things, filling for other people's spots. So I think we just kept it simple into our game and trusting our process, and I think all of us had each other's backs. And I think that's something that got us through yesterday to going in today, is that 1 through 23, we all had each other. And I knew that I could talk to one girl, and she's like, I know you got this today. And I felt that from everybody. So it was cool to feel that today in the locker room and on the field.
There was a whole bunch of kids there in the outfield today. How did it feel to inspire all those kids?
It was so fun. Every time I looked out there, I was smiling. Looking at Kedru, she was smiling, and hearing her just talk about how they're chanting for her, like, let's go #1. It's just cool to see women, or these little girls and these kids, just be able to see us play out there and hopefully be able to do something like that in the future for them. So it was fun, brought a lot of joy to me at the end of the day.
You guys are heading into conference play, and I mean, your average is a lot better start to your season than the past couple of years. So what's been different about this year and your approach to play?
Just keeping it simple. I think Coach told me this morning just to trust my way of game, and I think that put a lot of perspective for me. I'm not here to like hit big home runs, but if it happens, like, it happens. But I'm gonna look for like line drives, and I think I've been doing that all season. Is just how can I get on base and do my job. And when I keep it simple like that, everything's gonna work how it wants to.
Is it to be able to do something from drop a sneaky bunt to, you know, race around the bases and grab an extra one to hitting a grand slam? I mean, knowing that you're able to do whatever the circumstance calls for.
Yeah, it's fun. I think it's cool to have different tools in my toolbox, and whatever it takes for that day and what I need to use, like, just trusting that and buying into that, and just having fun with it. Honestly, it's really fun to go out there and not know if I'm going to put one down or end up hitting it over their head.
Paige Snicki hit a few over the opponent's head on Monday in a 22-4 victory for Oregon softball. It closed out a 4-1 weekend and a 9-1 homestand at Jane Sanders Stadium across the Oregon Classic and the Jane Sanders Classic over the last 2 weeks. Now Oregon going on the road, Big Ten play against Washington coming up this weekend, starting on Friday on the road, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series for Oregon softball. Oregon men's basketball, they're getting into tournament time and taking home some Big Ten accolades. Talking about that when we return on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
August was born 3 pounds, 9.8 ounces. When I first saw him, it was a whole range of emotions. There's stuff I still want to do. Being a young dad, it's not giving up. It's shifting. I looked through his eyes. I can envision the whole future with him already. To throw the first football to him, give him ice cream for the first time. My life is now devoted to his life.
Through all of fatherhood's firsts, never stop being a dad. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer.
That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now. Don't forget to say you will. Don't forget to say
Back here inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano here with you, breaking down the all Big Ten teams and the Oregon representatives on the men's basketball side of things, because the Ducks had a few representatives that got all conference honors as announced by the league office today, starting with the man in the middle, Nate Biddle, who had a third-team All-Big Ten accolade season throughout the regular season for Nate Biddle. He averaged 14 points, 7.5 rebounds, and he blocked more than a few balls defensively. Nate Biddle was really, really strong. Third-team All-Big Ten for Nate Biddle. Also, Jackson Shelstad, third-team All-Big Ten. The season for Jackson Shelstad, he averaged 13.3 points per game, 3 rebounds per game, about the same amount of assists per game for Jackson Shelstad as well. An all-around scorer, made more than a few big shots for the Ducks down the stretch. And Oregon also defensively down the stretch made an impact. Nate Biddle on his second Big Ten team, the Big Ten third-teamer, also Big Ten all-defensive team, as he was controlling the middle of the paint for a majority of the season. TJ Bamba also joins him. When you have a tandem of Nate Biddle in the middle and TJ Bamba on the perimeter, it makes it really difficult for opponents to score. And over the last few weeks, those two have really stepped up. TJ Bamba, you've heard Coach Altman say it a few times on our programs, TJ Bamba has been a big difference maker in terms of the Oregon winning streak. The two real keys for the Ducks during this winning streak has been TJ Bamba's increased play defensively and KJ Evans and his ability to get on the glass on both the offensive and defensive boards. Well-deserving Nate Biddle, TJ Bamba, both Big Ten all-defensive team. Oregon Golf still in action as they're closing up the Bandon Dunes Championship, and Oregon is comfortably in control as they're about 2 to 4 holes out of the clubhouse after a 7 over round 1, a 5 over round 2. The Ducks are 7 under currently in round 3. Right now 5 over for the tournament. Grayson Leach for Oregon individually sitting at 4 under. He is in second place for the tournament. Aiden Kraft making a lot of moves. He's 5 under on the day, now inside the top 5 for the tournament. He has raised 8 spots after his opening in today's round. Oregon Golf, they're up 19 strokes over Utah Valley with about 4 to 2 holes to play. Coming up later today on the Oregon Sports Network, Oregon baseball against Grand Canyon. The first game of a 2-game midweek set against the Antelopes. 4 o'clock first pitch, 3:45 pregame. I will see you over at PK Park. Bye, everybody. Go Ducks.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs?